Best in the business.
Ego.
The ego.
That's ego.
Ego.
Ego hit y'all with another one.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Hey, get the payday. You want payday? I know that. Canelo Alvarez. He's looking in shape. Special edition of my show, Ego Weight Watchers. Often imitated but never duplicated. But we're going to go over Canelo Alvarez, the shape that he's currently in ahead of the Terence Crawford fight. Now, what can I say? Ego Weight Watchers, aka EW, where I give you a look into the fighter lifestyle. Before, after, progress pics, especially when they have an upcoming fight. Canelo Crawford is September 13th. And I have a recent picture from a photo shoot of Canelo. Mind you, as of me recording this video, there's exactly 1 month until the fight. And I want to show you a month out how Canelo is looking. Boom. And we can enlarge it. Boom. There's Canelo Alvarez. You never know. So that's the current shape of Canelo Alvarez. My thoughts. I mean, he looks good. Pause. Make sure y'all pause that. I can't put this video out if y'all don't pause that. So we're going to hit the pause right there. Canelo's looking in shape. He's a consummate professional. He has like 60 fights, a ton of fights. I, at this point, expect nothing less of Canelo Alvarez. So I like what I'm seeing from Canelo Alvarez. Now, my thoughts, I also feel that Canelo looks perhaps a bit more trim and a bit more lean than some of his. There were some moments, especially like 175 and certain fights, where Canelo looked bigger. Like he looked like he just was massier. He had more like volume, more mass to him. But I think for the Crawford fight, he knows he's fighting a very talented, very good Terence Crawford from a lighter weight class. So I think he's trying to tailor his body to that, as he should. In boxing, you want to fight the proper fight. You want to have, it's almost like a movie role, right? If Sylvester Stallone in his prime, he's doing Tango and Cash. Okay, let's do it. Right? If you're doing Tango and Cash, you got to get your body in shape for what that calls for. But if you're doing a Rocky Balboa, let's say Rocky 5, Tommy, you want to fight? What do you mean you want to fight? Versus doing, you're a bomb expert in the specialist. You're a hitman in Assassins. Depending on what the movie role calls for and the intentions of the character and the motivation of the character, are you a good guy? Are you a bad guy? Are you a mercenary? You know what I mean? Depending on whatever the role is, Stallone will try to get in that type of shape. Or Michael B. Jordan. He's another one that kind of gets in shape. For Sinners, he wants to have this body type. Killmonger, he wanted more size. Creed, he wants size, but he also wants to look vascular. So that's what boxers do. But instead of a camera and yelling, cut, this is real life. So it's smart when the boxers manage their weight. And again, for Canelo, I expect nothing less because he got so many fights. He's experienced at this level. Now, the Bud Buddies might get mad at this, but Canelo has way bigger and better fight experience than Terence Crawford. It's what it is. And I think that's a missing conversation piece that a lot of people aren't willing to have. So what do I mean? What is your boy Ego referring to? Because I know the fans getting mad like, yo, Ego, Terence Crawford, he's a 2X undisputed fighter. What do you mean Canelo has more experience? Just what I said. Canelo has more big fight experience. He's done 1 million+ pay-per-views more times, meaning for that given year, he had a fan base that was willing to pay for his top shelf fights, the Cotto fights, the Mayweather fight, the Miguel Cotto fight. You know, probably Austin Trout did good numbers back then, right? So Canelo has those Golovkin fights. Had no guys, had Max's guys, his knife and his punch, his tick, 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 knife. Right? He got 3 fights with Golovkin. These are pretty much bigger than any fight that Crawford has done. So I think people are sleeping on Canelo's experience. And the other thing is Canelo is the most paid fighter pretty much in boxing for the last several years. He's at least a top, like one of the top earners every year, right? So the reason I'm talking about money, because I know some people, what do you mean money? Why are you talking about money? Because money is a tool. So having money is a tool, and you have more at your disposal the more money you have. So he's able to get fly-in sparring partners, get the best sparring partners that he can, get people to stay longer, room and board. You know, I mean, it's kind of common sense. I shouldn't have to babysit y'all through this stuff. The more money you have, the more you can do, right? The more like buying things and like getting the right diet. Imagine being a fighter and you're making $5,000 a fight versus Canelo Alvarez. Canelo can travel to the gym in style. He can get the proper nutrition. He can get a nutritionist. You know what I mean? All that stuff is within the realm. Now, the only thing is you don't want to lose yourself in that and be like, oh, I'm making so much money and not have no hunger, because that's where a guy like Crawford could get off on you, because Crawford has been hungry and he's training like he ain't won nothing before. So we'll see what type of fight it is, but I do like the shape that I'm seeing from Canelo Alvarez. Another thing that I noticed personally is it's kind of weird that Canelo and Crawford, they're almost doing 2 different things. Whereas I know for a fact I've seen a bigger, more brolic, massier Canelo Alvarez. So he looks more leaned and trimmed down a month out. I've seen him a month out before where he looked a lot bigger. So you got the bigger guy who's leaning down and probably trying to be agile, trying to keep that hand speed, right? Be in good dog shape. So Canelo, the bigger guy, is coming down. And then Crawford, the smaller guy, is coming up. But coming up because there's no rules to it. You can do whatever you want as long as you hit that number on the scale and make your weigh-ins. However, some sanctioning bodies require like 14 days out, 30 days out, blah, blah, blah. So as long as you make whatever is required per contract, you're good. And for me, the thing that's interesting is the fact that Crawford has elected to weigh so much. He's weighed like 186 to 190 and then did a cut, right? As opposed to just kind of teetering close to what you're planning on weighing in to maintain your speed and stuff. Like, it's kind of weird that you bulked up. Just like I always feel like this is kind of weird. That's why I don't suggest that fighters like bulk up in their off season, like not control their eating, not control their weight, because at the end of the day, you can bulk up as big as you want, but then you're going to turn around and lose what you just gained. So I don't really see the point in doing that. Like Jared Hurd was one of those guys where he was like getting 210, he said 215 pounds, but then you're campaigning at 54. So to me, that's kind of backwards to gain a whole bunch of weight just to drop the weight to make the weight on the scale. So to me, it seemed like it would have made more sense for Crawford to just be chilling around the 170-ish range instead of going closer to 185, 186, 190, or whatever he showed, unless he's playing some like sleight of hand trick and he's lying and when he's saying he weighs 186, he really don't weigh that. I mean, that's always a possibility, but I'm just going off of what was reported in his reported weight. If he's lying, that's on him. That's not on me. In my opinion, the worst thing for Terence Crawford is to get in there and you can't hurt Canelo Alvarez. And with the added weight, you start to fatigue in the back half of the fight and from getting punched on. That's where it could get ugly for Terence Crawford, because Canelo, I don't care what y'all talking about, Canelo is the naturally bigger guy. Even if the eye test makes it look like Crawford is the bigger fighter because he's taller and he bulked up, I want to see what weight he hits, but he's still not, he's not bigger. It's like, to be honest, I like what I'm seeing from Canelo, to be honest. Because Crawford, there's certain pictures where his stomach looks kind of soft, like which we're not used to seeing when he's at his regular divisions, like 147, when he was at lightweight, 147, 54. Crawford just looks super dialed in, six-packed up. Now he looks bigger, but he also looks almost like dad bod, like kind of like a dad bod, right? Versus Canelo looks how he always looks, but probably a little bit more trim, just maybe 5-7 pounds lighter than some of his heaviest weights this time out from the actual fight day. So that's what I was saying to you guys. For me, that's why I don't like this fight, because when it comes to weight, you got one guy who all he has to do is train for Crawford. That's Canelo. All he has to do is train, get a game plan, him and Eddie Reynoso, train hard, sleep good, rest, recovery, do what you always have been doing, and then tweak and tailor make little things for Crawford specifically. Like, okay, Crawford's ambidextrous. He's a switch hitter. He might try to switch on me. So in that moment, let's be ready for that. You know, work on some footwork or like changing angles, blah, blah, blah. So little fine tuning. But for Crawford, he has to do something completely different. Like he probably has to take and consume more protein, probably eat carbs, start off at a heavier weight. Like he's the one moving up multiple weight classes. So it's still unnatural. It's hard to explain because people see Crawford and it don't look like he's in terrible shape. So they're just like, oh, he's bigger. This is amazing. And they're getting souped up. But we've seen this with Jermell Charlo as well, where Jermell Charlo, he looked bigger and he looked in great shape. But when he fought Canelo, it was very apparent he wasn't a super middleweight and hadn't filled out and really built himself and grown to that division. Same thing with Kell Brook. Kell Brook looked in amazing shape. I can produce pictures of it ahead of the Golovkin fight. And he gave Golovkin some fits because he is a competitor. But over time in that fight, when his orbital shattered, it showed that Triple G was the true middleweight and had true middleweight power, right? And for the record, I think there was a moment where Kell Brook sent an uppercut that really kind of hurt Triple G, but he got a good chin. So I'm not saying that you can't land those shots or like hurt someone as a smaller person. The biggest thing why I don't like the fight is all weight. All weight. If they were naturally closer in weight or in the same division, I would be all in on this fight, but they're not. And it's very apparent. And come fight night, it's up to Crawford to prove that he's adequate at this weight class. And you can say whatever you want. It's like the great Tupac said, and you could tell them people you roll with whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on. Payback, I knew you from way back, witnessed me strapped with Max, knew I wouldn't play that, right? You can tell them people you roll with whatever you want. The burden is on Crawford to show that he could keep this guy off of him for 12 rounds as a smaller man. He's strong. He's doing all these deadlifts and stuff like that. But there is some pressure on you to hurt Canelo or get your respect up in there, period. Because if you cannot do that, it's going to be a long night as long as the fight lasts if Canelo don't respect your power. And unfortunately, we haven't seen Crawford even at 160, let alone 168. So how he'll look on the given night is really anybody's guess, a shot in the dark. And I will say this, deep down inside, like, you can lie to people in an interview. You can say whatever you want to people in an interview. You can appear confident. But when you're in that square circle, it is the ultimate truth serum and lie detector test. And that's when we're going to see if you really believe what you're saying. Because he's saying, I'm not going to run. Great. It should be a better fight then. Don't run against the bigger Canelo. Don't get in there and feel the power and start moving. You say you're not going to run. No Tom and Jerry. Cool. You say you have the power to hurt him. Show us, because then that'll be more dynamic and it'll be greater for your legacy. But again, saying is easy. Anybody can say it. Is about doing it. Move Canelo back, because I seen Kelly Pavlik put out an interview and he was like, just drive Canelo back. Bro, Golovkin didn't even do that. So yeah, it sounds good in theory. Just push him back. He can't fight going back. He has slow feet, but nobody been able to do that. So I think people are sleeping on the fact that Canelo too is a good fighter. Bud is a more dynamic fighter, meaning he has more tools, but that could be leveraged based on the weight. Whereas like this guy's more dynamic, but then this guy has weight and strength advantage potentially. So that could be leveraged out. That's all I'm saying. So everybody's like pushing back, driving back. Canelo has slow feet. I mean, tell that to Jermell Charlo. He's a great fighter, more experienced, more decorated at 154, better names at 154, and he couldn't do all that. And when he seen that, he kind of was in survival mode. So it will be interesting because Crawford does like to fight, and Crawford, I do believe he's willing to go out on his shield if need be. He's just that type of dog. Crawford definitely got dog in him. I don't know. I haven't seen him like sell out where he's like, I'm just going to tuck my tail and, not try to win this. So he does have a winner spirit. I give him that. So we'll see if he can make it interesting. All I'm saying is you have to do extra to attain this weight. Canelo doesn't have to do anything different. So when it comes to anything weight related, he definitely has the advantage, Canelo, because he just has to be who he's always been. I mean, he can't just fight dumb. Crawford's a great guy. He's a great fighter. So he can't just go in there and fight silly and get tagged and pot shot and you know what I mean? Because yeah, you could lose like that. But I just feel like you got two fighters. One person has to drastically do something different to hit their numbers on the scale. This person just has to maintain. It's almost like, here's an example, and I try to live my life like this. It's easier to keep up than to have to catch up. So what does that mean? Like, if you, whatever your goals are, little by little, if you don't take no days off and you do a little bit, even if you're not in a good mood, even if you don't feel like working, but you do a little bit, you'll be consistent. That discipline will separate you from everybody else, because when other people don't feel good, they just won't do something, right? So that little, like, I have a headache, but I'm still going to push through it and do what I need to do. You're maintaining. So every day you're getting a little bit in. Some days are better. Some days are mediocre. Some days are low, but you're still being consistent and putting the work in. You'll get the results, right? So in that analogy, it's these little deposits every single day add up to the bigger picture, because you're slowly building the brick wall, one brick at a time, but then now you have a brick wall, right? Same thing with like this weight class hopping. Canelo, he just has to lay one brick at a time and work on his game plan for Crawford. Crawford has to do that, a game plan for Canelo, but on top of that, he has to consume more protein and eat more and count his macros and eat more calories, as opposed to Canelo at this level. He's been fighting in the 160s for the pretty much a decade. So he just has to do, it's like a regular camp for him. It's not no specialty camp. So we're going to see how this fight plays out. Trust me. But in terms of camp wise, I would rather be the guy that just, he's been here before and it's just a regular weight camp. It's the same weight cut that I had to do when I fought Caleb Plant, that I had to do when I fought Caleb Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. So Canelo does have that going for him. He's also looking in tremendous shape. We're going to see if Crawford could put a dent in that Canelo armor. There are some things that Crawford does better than Canelo, but there are elements where people don't like Canelo and like, oh, he's failed the drug test, clenbuterol. We know all that. That's been discussed time and time again, especially on my channel. Crawford agreed to fight him and he agreed to fight on his terms. I'm not giving no participation trophies. If Crawford wins, I'll give him his props. If Canelo wins, I'll give him his props. And we got to draw that line in the sand. But I don't like weight class jumping like this. That's extreme. And like I said, you could tell them people you roll with whatever you want. Deep down inside, I think Crawford knows he's not a super middleweight for real, because the only guy he wanted to fight here is Canelo Alvarez. When you ask about David Benavidez, and I understand he's at 75 now, but that's a recent development. David Morrell recently moved to 175 not that long ago. He's not trying to fight no dude like that. He's not calling out like Demetrius Andrade as a tune-up or whoever, you know what I mean? Like the dude that just beat Caleb Plant. He only wants one guy. So that's kind of been the name of the game for Crawford's career, where I'm not putting in the heavy lifting work. I just have to fight Errol Spence and succeed on that one given night, and then I'm a 2X undisputed champion. I didn't have to fight prime Sean Porter, even though he later fought him. I didn't have to fight Ugas coming off the Pacquiao win. All I had to do was fight Errol Spence, and if I'm better on the night, then, hey, the history book show I'm 2X undisputed. Now, Canelo collected all the belts at super middleweight, and because Turkey likes Crawford and pushed for this fight, Crawford now again has another opportunity to be a 3X undisputed champion by defeating one guy for the most part. So every time he's been undisputed, he's been able to kind of fight one real main person, Ndongo, Errol, and now Canelo, you know what I mean? As opposed to like, you have to fight and take the belt off Caleb Plant. You have to take the belt off of Uzcategui or David Benavidez, and then you fight Canelo. So I that's another reason I don't like the fight. I've been vocal about that, because it's almost like fabricating. It's like kind of going through a loophole. To me, there's people, and then like people be like, oh, Crawford, this run is better than Lennox Lewis. But Lennox Lewis, come on, bro. He had to fight Evander Holyfield. He had to fight dude that knocked him out, Hasim Rahman, and avenge that. Oliver McCall, Tommy Morrison, Shannon Briggs, Vitaly Klitschko. You know what I mean? Like, his run is different. We got to stop comparing to the fighters of yesteryear, because the way it was set up, the game was different. He didn't have no Ndongos in there for real. Vitaly ain't no Ndongo, or Shannon Briggs, or whoever, Mike Tyson, all these guys Lennox fought, right? They not no Ndongo level people where you just had to fight the weakest link type of person. Like, it's like Lennox Lewis if he had to fight Chris Bird and then he becomes undisputed. That's like kind of an easier path, because Lennox is bigger than Chris Bird. You feel me? And Chris Bird wasn't like a massive puncher. So, you know, it is what it is. I like the shape that both guys are in. But for me, the eye test, Ego Weight Watcher, and you know I've been doing this for a while, Canelo, he still looks like the more natural super middleweight. Crawford looks like a fabricated super middleweight. He still don't look like a super middleweight to me. Maybe he does to you. Let me know in the comment section. Canelo looks more filled out, and rightfully so. Like when Andre Ward moved to 175, I was there for the journey. So I was at his first fight at 175. I was at his second fight and his final fights with Kovalev, right? And I seen, being in Ward's gym, I seen the progression and the adding on of weight, and his body started to fill out. It wasn't like that versus Sullivan Barrera. Just go back and look at his body versus Sullivan Barrera. He's still in great shape. But by the time he fought Kovalev in the first and second fight, he was more filled out, and he was still making the same weight, but he was more like chipped up, and he just looked more ready for the division. And that's what typically happens, right? You move up and, you know, you have to fill out, unless you're like a Jaron Boots Ennis, where you should have been moved up. And now Jaron Ennis might very well look big at 54, but that's also a person who, I don't know how he was making 47 for so long. You see what I'm saying? So enough weight talk. Let me know what you guys think. Canelo definitely looks in shape. Crawford's in shape too. Crawford does have the willpower. We'll see how it plays out. For more boxing news, subscribe. I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that. If you're new to YouTube and you're struggling to get views, one tool I can provide to you is TubeBuddy. I've been on YouTube over 10 years. I use TubeBuddy daily to crank out videos just like this one that you're watching. Learn how the pros do it with TubeBuddy. YouTube receives a lot of traffic, which also means a lot of creators, a lot of people putting out content. So you need to learn the ropes so you know how to separate yourself, especially if you're new. But even if you're a pro, use TubeBuddy. The link is in the description. Get more views, more subscribers, and a higher click-through rate, so ultimately you can realize all of your online goals. Use my affiliate link in the description and grow your channel fast.